Woo, I missed you all yesterday. It took forever and a minute to get the Wi-Fi back, and when it came back up, I was just too lazy to do a show. Did I see Nene Nut in here? Nene! Where have you been, my friend? I see flip-flops. Mama She's in the house. Pat K, change your avatar picture. Oh my goodness! Woo! Hey, Dark. Slim Shady made it in. By the way, I posted in the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group. Slim Shady's daughter got married a couple of days ago. It was a very small ceremony. You would think it would be just like way over the top, but it was just very classy and very well put together. What up, Diva? Halo's in. I am so happy to see you guys. Because like I said, I missed you. Uh-oh. La. Girl. You got to quit ditching us like this. But sometimes it happens. Let me tell you what, it has been quite a morning for us here in northeastern Oklahoma. We have more storms coming through. As you know, the Wi-Fi got knocked out yesterday, and I couldn't really do a show. This is what is going on right now. Now, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. This is not my garden. Thank goodness it's not. But it is nothing but ice falling out of the sky. I walked outside, to look at the weather, which I do often. And I did post one on my Facebook page, and there's little ice pellets. This is actually near Shonda's area. There are some places that the ice that's coming down, the hail, look like freaking baseballs. It's nuts. But again, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. If you see hail like this, go ahead, scoop it up and make yourself a nice martini. Shaken, not stirred. Well, we know what today is. It is hump day. And you know what that means?
Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
It's hump day. And you know what we do on hump day? We wear pink. Pink lipstick, maybe some earrings, maybe change your glasses, maybe your jewelry. I've got on my Crime Lines and Lies. We wear pink on Wednesday's shirt right now. Yes, I do. And hang on, because I have a very special announcement after this. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. Well, we've been called the Mean Girls, but we missed it yesterday. Someone else that wears pink on Wednesdays. One of our main mods, our main men around here, Shep. Yesterday was his birthday. So everybody tune in, give applause, and tell our great friend Shep happy birthday. I mean, Shep, think about it. 40 some years ago, you went through that vaginal water slide. And here you are. And we love you to death. We can pick on you because you're the only man that's a mod around here. All right, let's get to it. I have a poll up. What do you think Jenn Soto really knew? Hold on one second. Shep said, hey, I'm only 37. Well, I got the rest of it right. What do you think she knew? This is where we're at right now because Stephen Stearns, Mr. Disney, this is a death penalty case. It's not even so much about murder at this point. They had him, the death penalty was just, and I shouldn't say just that way, for the essay he put on Madeline. In Florida, that is DP. My question is, can they not prove Jenn knew? No proffer agreement is needed because they have him dead to rights. They've got him. Or do they need her as a witness because it is a death penalty case? You see, that's one thing that prosecutors cannot lose. I mean, if you're going for the jugular, you better be prepared as a prosecutor to go for the jugular. Even if they sit there for 20, 30 years, you better be prepared. Now, I'm asking all of my good friends in here, what would you think if your new boyfriend was posting pictures of your child online without your permission? Personally, I wouldn't like that at all. And let me explain to you my relationship with social media. When people started communicating online, I'm old as dirt, okay? So everything was AOL, you know, you've got mail. I thought that was the coolest shit in the world. I mean, I thought that was the coolest shit in the world. And I could talk to my friends through the computer. Now, mind you, I could talk to them anyway, because hell, I'm talking to next door neighbors. Then MySpace came out. And Tom never did us wrong. Then comes Facebook. And you go to fill that out. It was like you were filling out an application for a new Visa credit card. Date of birth. Okay, I'm typing. Mother's maiden name. Yes, okay. Nicknames you like. Okay, I've got it. Okay. Your favorite pet. Okay, got it. You know, to try to get approved. So with all the communication that we have and the things that we know that go on social media, my question is, how did Jenn Soto not realize that him posting pictures of her daughter on social media was beyond disgusting? Walking Dead, hang on. She said MySpace was the shit. That's what I'm telling you right now. We need that stuff back. Dude that owned MySpace never did us wrong. didn't get my hand slapped. I got, I couldn't post on Facebook. I think it was like for a week because I said, it's so hot outside, I'm sweating my fat ass off. Facebook said it was for bullying and harassing. Listen, I can't bully or harass my own fat ass, all right? I wouldn't need a man if I could get to my own ass. All right, let's get to it because I think Jenn knew everything. Everything. There is a reason that Madeline Soto was complaining to friends saying, as soon as I turn 13, I'm going to live in the woods. I know some people say, oh, what's the big deal about her being 13? Because in a child's mind, I'm 13. I'm now a teenager. That means I'm, almost an adult. So I can do what I want to do. Her mother did not believe her, in my opinion. And it hurts my heart to no end. When Jenn Soto said, we haven't had an argument like that in 2 weeks, well, then what were their arguments about? I think the arguments were about snuggle time with Mr. Disney. This is a clip from our friend Evil Exists.
In a lot of the cases we follow, we see these predators who take advantage of little innocent children. The world is just not a safe place anymore. We have to be so careful about who we let around our kids. Before letting anyone in your home and around your kids, make sure you trust them. Do some research. I always say better safe than sorry. Just far too many stories, and the similarities between Madeline Soto and Audrey Cunningham's case gives me chills. Same horrific events over and over again. Very concerning. Often the predatory behavior doesn't just happen overnight. These sick predators groom their victims, sometimes for years. In the case of both Madeline and Audrey, I worry that before they were killed, inappropriate things were happening all along in the home. It could have been happening for months before they were ultimately killed. Here's a comment that I found on Facebook that really concerns me. It's not unusual for the mother to be scrutinized in a case like this, because how can she not know what was going on? Surely there was something, some red flags, some odd behavior, just something that would have set off alarm bells. The fact that Madeline told her friends she wanted...
All right, we have a lot of ladies in here. Ladies, women, girls down the street. I have put this out several times, and I'm going to keep beating this dead horse. Her laundry. Her laundry. I know for those of you that have daughters, it didn't take too long to find out when their cycle was going on. I think I was like 11 years old, and I was telling my mom, I said, my back hurts. And she was like, have you seen anything in your panties? She's like, because I haven't noticed anything because she does the laundry. And I was like, no. And she described it. Anything, any sort of fluid, because she thought I might be starting my period. And I was like, no. Now, knowing me at that age, I was probably being a lazy bitch and just didn't want to go to church. Who knows? Let me tell you something. No way in all these years did she not see the laundry. I understand men don't know what we're talking about, but the women do. Who was doing the laundry? Because no way Mr. Disney was doing it all the time. No way. Because they were on again, off again, on again, off again. He would be down in Sarasota County with his parents. How could she not know? Just the changes in Madeline's personality. And not to be too grim here, but boots are made for walking, but hips aren't. Could you just imagine, considering several of the charges are penetration, how Madeline would have been feeling down there? She just didn't care.
To stay in the woods after her 13th birthday tells me that something was possibly going on at home. This person commented on Facebook, saying that there were rumors at Madeline's school, where some of the kids claimed that Maddie was telling her best friend about what was going on, and that she even told her mother, but her mother won't believe her. This lady said that she informed the school deputy.
I believe this. I believe this 100%. I believe this 100%. And I'm going to go further with this about people in the family that I believe knew something was going on. Maybe not to the degree they know now. But I do believe that the arguments between mom and daughter were not the normal arguments that mothers and daughters have. Trust me, I had plenty of arguments with my mother. To the point she would tell me, say that again, I'll slap you down, scrape you up, and I'll slap you back down again. You don't speak to me that way. Of course, when children talk amongst their friends, nothing gets done. You know why? Because children don't like authorities. They do not want to go to the principal, the school counselor. They don't want to talk to anyone like that. They talk amongst their friends. I believe 100% that when she said, as soon as I turn 13, I'm just going to go live in the woods. Her mom didn't believe her. Now, this woman has been heavily vetted, and law enforcement has talked to her daughter to the point they believed it so much that in the first press conference they said, Maddie said she was going to go live in the woods, and that's where we're searching. You see, law enforcement is not going to waste their precious time if they don't believe kids at the cafeteria table. But they definitely believed. Read that. She's sickening to me as well. I know she knew his behavior was odd with the children, and she would just look the other way. There's rumors at school from the kids that Maddie was telling her one best friend about the molestation, and now her mom didn't believe her. I heard this 2 days ago from students and informed the school deputy. However, it seemed to me they already knew something. Of course they did. because the police were already there.
But it seemed they already knew something. Can you guys imagine this situation? Just terrible, and I really hope it's not true.
Well, we know now it is true. We know now. And the sad fact of the matter is, her clique of friends will blame themselves, thinking they should have done more. Again, kids don't run to the teacher. Kids don't run to the principal. Kids don't run to the counselor. They don't do that. They talk amongst their friends, their peers. So we go to her aunt, who spoke out while she was missing and said she wouldn't run away. She wouldn't run away. Now remember, the 911 calls were made from this aunt and from Madeline's grandmother. Why did Jenn Soto not call 911? Why did Jenn Soto go to her mom's office looking for Madeline? Well, maybe she just walked over there from school. Then she emails the teacher. Why didn't she call Mr. Disney and say, you're the one that dropped her off? Did she mention anything she was doing after school? She didn't do that. Now you have the aunt. Saying she wouldn't have run away.
Said, and dozens of volunteers are still out there looking for 13-year-old Madeline Soto. They've been out there all day in a wooded area near Hunters Creek in Orange County. Good evening. I'm John Brown.
And I'm Lou Ann Sorrell. Deputies have officially called off their search for the day. Fox 35's Caroline Coles is joining us live tonight. So, Caroline, the girl's family is just terrified that she could be in danger.
Yeah, just like any family would be. They're nervous, they're scared, they're worried. They just are hoping and praying that they find her safe and, most importantly, alive.
I really don't think she would have ever done anything like that. To just pick up and run away with no trace of anything.
50 hours and counting. That's how long it's been since 13-year-old Madeline Soto was reported missing. On Wednesday, family.
Madeline was dead. She had already been murdered by Mr. Disney. And false information was given to the investigators. You see, you can't investigate based on false information. There's a way around it. Don't get me wrong. They do it all the time. But her own mother said, I saw her at 8 o'clock in the morning, and she had an army green hoodie and black shorts and white Crocs. Yet we know she was dead before 7:35 a.m. And we know she was found in jeans. I've always had a question about this. Who comes home from the birthday party and puts jeans on? Who dressed her dead body? Who? And another question is, are they saving Jenn for something to make sure they put him away? Or are they still coming through all of the digital and still doing investigations and talking to people to get some inkling if, to where us, did she know or not? You've got to be kidding me. By the way, if you have received a Crime Lines and Lies membership from our girl Angel P, give her a big old fat thank you and get your umbrellas. Thank you so much, Angel P. You are the best. I have so many questions about this case, and every one of them just makes me sick at my stomach. One is the 1,700 plus pictures from Mr. Disney's phone. Some of these pictures, I don't see how he could take himself. When Jenn Soto was shown one picture, which is of her daughter performing a sexual act on Mr. Disney, which of course she did not want to do, she said she didn't recognize that. Didn't recognize the unit, didn't recognize her daughter's face or her bedroom because it was in her bedroom. The same bedroom that she would say, because of my anxiety, I would send them to go sleep in another room so I could sleep. What's going on here, lady? Why did you serve your daughter up on a silver platter? Why didn't you go look for her? Why? Reading that affidavit took me several days to get through because it made me so sick. And now the new documents that are dropping, they want more. And what I do like about this is that they are wanting warrants from Apple from Jenn Soto.
13-year-old Madeline Soto was reported missing. On Wednesday, family, friends, and dozens of deputies searched several areas around Orange County, and still no sign of the teenager.
I'm trying to believe that she is still alive out there.
Maddie was last seen Monday morning after being dropped off near her school by her mother's boyfriend. But after drop-off, Maddie never made it to school. Maddie's mother telling us surveillance video shows Maddie hanging out in a church parking lot on Monday morning after being dropped off for school, but she never made it inside.
I don't know if she's somewhere safe. That I have high doubts.
Why do you say that?
Just because of the world we live in right now, everything's really crazy.
Sheriff's deputies are using canines and a piece of Maddie's clothing to try to track her scent in the Hunters Creek area. And just like the family, the Orange County Sheriff's Office is also concerned for Maddie's safety, especially after finding troubling messages on Maddie's phone.
There is information on the phone that indicated that she told people when she turned 13, which was on February 22nd, she actually wanted to go live in the woods.
That's a huge red flag. Now, mind you, this was months ago when they said through her phone, they found these messages that when she turned 13, she wanted to go live in the woods. I'd want to go live in the woods too. I would want to go live in the damn woods too. Just letting Maddie sleep by that creep is, in my opinion, abuse in itself. So, of course, the sheriff's office already knows we got a problem here. Because, kids like their popcorn, their TV, their electronics, all of that stuff. Their comfy bed. So to say, when I turn 13, I'm going to go live in the woods. Well, that opened Pandora's box, because next thing you know, they get a hold of Mr. Disney's phone that he accidentally factory reset and found over 1,700 pictures. These aren't pictures of sunsets, my friends. This isn't the new puppy. This isn't, oh, look, our flower bed's finally taken off. These are sexual pictures between him and Madeline. And abused children, actually, you know what? Any child. They don't want to talk to anybody that's taller than them, if you know what I mean. I mean, I don't know. So, of course, she's not going to walk into school screaming and yelling, saying this is happening to me. It took her murder to find out what he was doing to her. And I have seen some comments of people saying, well, why didn't Maddie just run away? Why didn't she do something? I don't quite understand. On one hand, in this society, we have people that want to be a victim when they're not a victim and they can do things for themselves. And then we have the other hand of it where people that can't help themselves, they victim blame them. It's the strangest thing. It is the strangest thing. I can't make sense of it.
Sheriff Mina says they have collected video from where she went missing and will continue to extensively look for Maddie until they locate her.
We're worried about where she is and God forbid, but what's happening to her, if anyone has her, if anything like that. It's gotten to a point where we're hoping that she is with someone that she knows.
Okay, I can say this to the aunt. I hope she's with someone that she knows. The problem is, aunt, she was with people she knew. Past tense, because she's dead now. She was with her mother, her mother's boyfriend. She frequently saw her aunt, frequently saw her grandmother, and many family members. Jenn Bug said, unless you're a victim, you don't understand. You're afraid to speak out. You think it's normal. And maybe he threatened her. I think there was a lot of threats being thrown around. Now, remember, he had been down to his parents. And the night I'm speaking of, which is the night that she was murdered, he showed back up like a turd that won't flush. He just shows back up. Her mother said, oh, yeah, she loved her presence. And then she went to bed. And then I saw her 8 in the morning. I think we have 2 participants here, because no way you're going to mistake seeing your child alive the morning of her murder. Also, it's crazy to me that both Mr. Disney and Maddie left their phones behind. At first, we heard it was just Maddie because, she's so ADHD. She forgets things all the time. But he left his phone behind too. Also, the way she was positioned in the back seat of the car is, I hate to say it, it's called a dead man's position. Because you see, when we're alive, which I'm alive right now, if I want to take a nap, my body is not going to fall all the way to the left. There's certain positions when you're alive, your body doesn't turn. So yes, he was driving around with her as she was deceased. Listen to what Jenn herself said.
We called the police at like 4:45.
Lie number one. We called the police at 4:45. Bullshit, Jenn Soto. You didn't call the police. Your mother did. And your sister called 2 more times. You never made contact with the police. Isn't it funny with these criminals, when the truth finally comes out and they have to think, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And I don't know what coupon she got from Lens Crafters to get those goofy ass glasses, but they don't serve her double chin at all.
Yesterday, 4:45 p.m. But she actually went missing early that morning, around between 8:45 and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, she's right there with the time. She went missing between 8:45 and 9 o'clock. Really, for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Here's the whole thing. We know she was dead before that. We know she was murdered before that. He was seen on camera at 7:35 a.m. throwing away her things. Backpack, laptop, basically anything he could find of hers. He even Googled, how long does DNA last on clothes? That's going to be coming out soon. So here she is misleading the police. Or trying to convince the general public. Well, you know what? You can fool anyone at a concert. But when you have a meeting of the minds of people that are actually thinking about something, it doesn't work that way.
Went missing. We dropped her off at school, close to school.
We dropped her off at school, close to school. Now, Jenn Soto was not in that car unless she was hiding down in the dashboard. I'm sorry, down where no one could see her. Maybe Jenn Soto was the one wearing the army green hoodie and the black shorts and white Crocs to walk in front of that camera? I don't know. But she clearly says, we. Listen again.
We dropped her off at school, close to school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
We dropped her off. I have a feeling Jenn Soto was shitting her britches on what to do. And says to Mr. Disney, we have to find somewhere to put her. And since Mr. Disney has more than likely been selling the 1,700 plus pictures of Madeline, he knew where to put her to make it look like James Cox, also known as Santa, and his son were responsible.
I'm not sure what I'm allowed to share.
Our guests are back with us. Trevor Randall, how would you approach mom in this situation? Do you approach her as a witness or as a suspect?
Well, we always approach them to
knows what is going on and turns a blind eye to it, or hinders the investigation in some way after it has started. But in this instance, if she has hired a counsel, I'm sure that counsel will tell her not to speak to law enforcement.
Yeah, you guys always.
And I fully believe she has an attorney. I fully believe it. Now, yesterday, Vinny on his YouTube channel, not Court TV, but another one, somebody in the comments, and he put it on the screen, said that her attorney was going to be speaking on The View today. Yeah, well, I don't see those people putting Jenn Soto's attorney on. Also in comments saying Jose Baez is her attorney. I don't know, because he would be all over that one. That would be all, he loves self-promotion. So I don't know. That the attorney was going to be on a local television station. Well, none of that happened. None of that happened. But that's what happens when people come in and they spread false information. Now, speaking of false information, there's Gray Hughes on there.
Do that, Ken. Always. They never talk. Dr. Carol Lieberman, where do you think the mother is mentally at this point?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and it kind of depends upon whether she knew anything about it. You know, if she did know, then she's realizing that everything's going to be coming down on her as well as the boyfriend. If she didn't know, then she'd really be in shock, and she'd be, all the more upset. But one of the things the most important thing I think that people need to learn from this case, and I know I said it last time, but you can't say it too many times, this is a typical scenario where these sexual predators find single mothers who have low self-esteem, don't have, a very exciting life, good life, don't have a boyfriend or a husband, and they swoop in when the mother has a child. And really, they're doing it. They're becoming the boyfriend because they want to sexually abuse the child. So whether she knew or not, consciously or unconsciously knew, that's what she let herself in for. And women have to be so careful of this.
Gray Hughes, what have you uncovered about the mother and any indication where she is right now?
Well, I have no idea where she is right now, but I'm sure an attorney's probably had her, go low, hide from the public eye, make sure nobody can see or talk to her. Because the interviews that she did, there's so many people judging her based on how she answered. In my opinion, it's very possible that the information she's telling us was scripted by Stephen Stearns, and she's just kind of repeating. That's why she's kind of looking up in the air, trying to remember what the story is. But one of the issues that she does have that I think people should think about is when she said that at 8 a.m. she saw Madeline getting dressed for school. Now that might come back to be a problem for her because at 7:30 in the morning, Stephen Stearns was putting the backpack and laptop into a dumpster, which...
No shit, genius. No shit, genius. And there's Vinny giving you and your brick wall the platform. And you don't even play golf. So what are you doing wearing that hat all the time? I hate to say this, but he's getting Idiot of the Week. I hate to do it to Gray Hughes, but it has to happen sometimes. All right, I'm still waiting on several people to claim their t-shirt. Let me know. Let me know. And Nini, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. You earned it, Gray. You got this one. Good God.
Which we would all assume at that point then, Madeline's likely not alive at that point. So at 8 a.m, how is she seeing her now? You could say, well, she made a mistake, it was off. Now, law enforcement might be able to determine, based on digestion or any other elements, exactly when she passed away.
Okay, looks like he's going to get it twice. I think based on digestion, they're actually going to know when she died. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. I've watched Forensic Files as well, and I do understand when medical examiners go through the body, maybe she had a steak and they can find out by digestion. Son of a bitch. All right, we got to do it twice. And by the way, I am not one to talk because if I cut into someone's belly, I couldn't tell you what part of the digestion it is. That's the reason I don't talk about things I don't know a damn thing about. Son of a bitch. But we do know, according to law enforcement, the ones that are actually investigating, they said that what Jen Soto said to them does not match up with what they know. And what they know is pure facts and evidence. As much as we get irritated with law enforcement and we're like, why is this taking so long? Why can't they do this? Why can't they do this? Why can't they do that? It takes a long time to prove shit. Especially when you're in a den of liars. And they are in a den of liars. But they came right out of the bat and they said, no, hold on. Well, she told us. Doesn't match up with what we know. No. No, no, no. It can't be. No way did she see her daughter at 8 o'clock that morning with an army green hoodie on, black shorts, and white Crocs, when we know at that time she was already dead in the car. She'd have been murdered. One of their search warrants was for their condo, which of course would happen, I would assume. Not to be Captain Obvious like Gray Hughes, but of course, it's part of the documents. But she lied. This is our conundrum. Why hasn't she been charged just for lying to them to slow up the investigation? My dumb brain, who is not in law enforcement, not an attorney, doesn't believe that a proffer agreement would be needed because they've got all they need on him. They've got enough for death penalty on him already in the state of Florida. Remember, every state's different. Just with the 1,700 plus messages. I think it's deeper. I think this investigation is going deeper because somebody was making money that didn't make any sense. You see, when you have a mama at home with her anxiety, laying in the bed saying, "Oh, I'll walk your dogs. I'm here 24/7." And you have 1,700 plus pictures of her daughter. Do you think maybe they're investigating who was selling what? And none of these things none of this could be a fast investigation. None of it. Think about it. She had a new car. She had a Louis Vuitton purse. This is not a knockoff, okay? She was bragging about it on her Facebook. Her and I were friends on Facebook for a little bit. I thought we were going to talk, a little bit. And then she got the hell out of Dodge. You're talking about a $3,000 bag. Amongst other things. Jimmy Choo shoes. Don't get me wrong, I'd love me some good old Jimmy Choos. But I'm not going to take pictures of OJ with Mr. Disney to get them. No. And then, I've got anxiety. I've got to lay down. I've got to lay down. So you two go to the other room. Where's the money coming from? They could have easily found out real quick if it was all from Yolanda. They're liars. And we know she lied.
And the death of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. Why prosecutors are now calling for an investigation into this local sheriff, and how the story Madeline's mother provided law enforcement doesn't line up with what investigators know.
We spoke one-on-one with Jennifer Soto last.
Goodness, just look at her face. I don't know if you guys saw the show last Wednesday I did about Candace Wells when she was complaining to everybody on Al Gore's internet about how she couldn't shit. That's how Jenn Soto looks right there. Like, I don't know. This isn't anxiety. This is scared shitless. That's what we're looking at right there. This is, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I told him to do the factory reset. I told him. They're going to get her on something. Question is what? Because once they lawyer up, the police aren't going to talk to them. They can't. They can't. Look at that face.
Tuesday. Good afternoon. I'm Darlene Jones.
And I'm Greg Wormuth. At that point, her daughter Madeline had been missing for 1 day. She told us that Stephen Stearns, her boyfriend and now the prime suspect in Madeline's death, had taken the teenager to school. She said the last conversation she had with the 13-year-old was the night before. But this report we got a hold of today shows she told deputies she saw her daughter the morning of her disappearance. Channel 9.
Okay, I'm beating that dead horse again, but I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Who would tell the authorities you saw your daughter at 8 a.m. and you tell your local news affiliate she went missing between 8:45 a.m. and 9 a.m.? Who would say that? And that you went to school to pick her up and she wasn't there, and you go to your mom's office to see if she had gone over there, and you email a teacher when she said the school was closed, when other parents have said, no, you can still get in the school. You can still get in the school. Why didn't she get a hold of Mr. Disney and say, hey, Mickey Mouse, you dropped her off, even though she said we? Did she mention any plans for after school? Or while, you were out picking up comic books and trading Digimon and buying video games, did you happen to swing by and pick her up? And these women that want men like that, I will never understand. Could you imagine? Hey, if you don't mind, can you take the kids to school? Oh, okay. And they come back and they're like, oh, look, I got comic books. I've got a new video game. Oh, really? Jen Soto, you have a lot of splaining to do. I mean, a lot.
Got a hold of today shows she told deputies she saw her daughter the morning of her disappearance. Channel 9 investigative reporter Shannon Butler has been digging into the details of this case. She joins us live in studio. And Shannon, that's not the only thing you noticed in this new report.
Greg, no one has been charged in Madeline Soto's death, but we do know investigators are looking into who knew what and when. And some of that means looking at those initial interviews of the couple and the ones later on. Sources tell me the statements about the timeline are not consistent. Jennifer Soto told us last week that.
Okay. The timeline in every case is beyond important. It's beyond important. We have spoke about it in, every case we talk about. The timeline is gold. Okay? We have talked about it in the Summer Wells case. The only thing Candace Wells is scared of is the timeline. We have proven now she's not scared of bears, and snakes, and coyotes. We know that. She's a little scared of being constipated. We know in the Audrey Cunningham case, the man that murdered her Allegedly, he's charged for it. His timeline made no sense. Stacey Wandra has been on this show to explain his timeline of the day that Michael Vaughn was abducted. Sad thing is, that idiot actually made it make sense. We know the timeline for Kyron Horman from Terry Horman doesn't add up. We know in the case of Sebastian Rogers, the timeline is non-existent because his mother just acts like she was asleep. And there's more and more and more and more. And this one, well, they're all beyond disturbing. But I can say this. Chicky Poo here lied for a reason. And I agree 100% with our girl Rhonda Thompson. She goes, what about Maddie's anxiety? Could you imagine? Could you just imagine being a little girl, and your mom serves you up on a silver platter to give you to her boyfriend to keep him around? Oh no, you guys go have snuggle time. I'll have snuggle time with him later. These are documents. This is not my speculation. These are documents. Oh yeah, go have snuggle time. You guys go snuggle. I have anxiety. I can't with this. I can't with this chick. I can't.
Consistent. Jennifer Soto told us last week that the last conversation she had with her daughter was about her 13th birthday party the night before Maddie disappeared.
I told her good night, and yeah, that was it.
But according to documents, Sunday night was not the last time Soto saw Maddie. New documents show that Maddie's mom told deputies on February 26th that she saw her daughter getting dressed for school at 8 o'clock that morning, and that her boyfriend then took the teen to school. But since that initial report was taken, we learned from the Orange.
Look at that hug. Look at that. Sorry, I'm going to spend a little too much time on this, I know, but look at that. She's comforting him. Should it not be the other way around? Should he not be comforting her? You know, your daughter is missing. Look at this. And she's looking straight down at him. Like, we're in this together, buddy. Ooh. Gag me with a maggot.
Told deputies on February 26th that she saw her daughter getting dressed for school at 8 o'clock that morning, and that her boyfriend then took the teen to school. But since that initial report was taken, we learned from the Orange County Sheriff that Maddie was likely dead earlier than that.
Our detectives have determined that Madeline was never dropped off. Instead, we believe she was already dead at the time, and that Stephen Stearns moved her body in the early morning hours on that day.
And they would know. And they would know. They have the evidence.
Channel 9 has been going through statements from Stephen Stearns and Soto trying to piece together what happened in the last few hours of the little girl's life, starting with our interview of the couple. Her mom told us last week.
We dropped her off at school, close to school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
But in that same interview, then said,
I wasn't the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner.
Question. And we're not inside her head. We're not inside their home. If I was inside their home, Madeline would be alive. Why did she originally tell police that they took her to school? Walking Dead said, I love you no matter what. Then she says, oh, my partner, my partner. Look, I can't keep up with the labels in 2024. What the hell's going on there? Is he your boyfriend, your fiance, your fuck buddy? Are you married? What's going on? Are you Facebook married like some of these people? Oh, look at me. I'm in a relationship. Well, what is it? The hell's going on here? I would say partner in crime. A lucrative crime.
She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
But in that same interview, then said,
I wasn't the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner.
Yeah, she's jiggling around. She's jiggling. She said, I was the one that took her to school. That wasn't my partner. Why are you misleading people?
But yeah. Detectives believe Maddie was likely dead early Monday morning because a video timeline shows Maddie's belongings being dumped in a dumpster at 7:35 by Stearns. At 8:19, Sheriff Mina said video shows Maddie in Stearns' vehicle believed to be deceased. Since then, the case has moved to Kissimmee Police, and sources tell us that Soto has been interviewed multiple times by detectives at 2 agencies, and that they are looking closely at all the statements she's made. But officially, Kissimmee Police won't comment.
Some people have theories that she is so calm and he is so broken up in this interview because she told him what to do. And mind you, it's speculation, it's a theory. So he carried out what she wanted done. To me, that's a very interesting theory. Obviously, it's just for conversation. But I do think about that. We've heard him talk. It sounds to me like he sits on the potty to go pee-pee. He's certainly not a real man. He's not going to whip it out in the backyard while he's mowing, okay? She's way too calm. She's way too calculated. She's way too calculated because she was throwing law enforcement off from the get-go. She has lied about everything. Called at 4:45 p.m. No, we know that didn't happen. You see, on law enforcement's end, they can prove everything easily. They know when they got the call. We know it was Yolanda and her sister calling. We know there was no way in the world that Jenn Soto saw Madeline alive at 8 a.m. that morning. Didn't happen. Couldn't have happened because we know she was already deceased. We know that. We know she wasn't wearing what she said she had on because when she was found 4 minutes away from Santa's house, she had on jeans. Then you have her reassuring him Now, I just want you to watch her mannerisms with him, okay? She's standing over him, my friends. He's not comforting her. She's standing over him. I'll turn off the sound and you can see what's going on. This is more of a, I got this, is the way it looks to me. Just watch.
At 2 agencies, and that they are looking closely at all the statements she's made, but officially, Kissimmee police won't comment. So this initial report also...
Yep, it went too fast. Hang on. Watch how she looms over him. Ilyanka said, reminds me of Don Wells' interview and how he held his son. Whew, you took the words out of my mouth. You did. You absolutely did. When you stand over someone, there's a reason for it. You're serving them food. You're giving them comfort. Or it's a, I got this.
At 2 agencies, and that they are looking closely at all the statements she's made.
She even fixed his collar for him. She fixes his collar. Look. She's got her hands folded. Actually, I'm going to slow this down so we can see this together. How do I do that? Hang on.
And then they're looking.
Okay, she's got her hands right on his shoulder and one around his neck. Now, mind you, they have been on again, off again. Okay, that's where she says, I love you no matter what. Okay. Okay, she rolls her eyes like she can't be bothered with this. The fixing of someone's clothes, in my opinion, is a term of endearment. Oh, here, I'll fix that for you. You know, you have a hair on you. It's almost like she's mothering Mr. Disney and not Maddie. Look at those eyes. It's like she can't be bothered. I don't know if this is scared shitless or she truly just can't be bothered. But she is truly mothering him. Okay, look at her mouth. It's kind of a, what do we do now? Shoot. Well, darn. What do we do now?
So this initial part also shows that Stearns told investigators that after Maddie got out of his car, she stopped to look in that book bag before he drove away. That same book bag was found actually in the dumpster. After her death, he then said he went home for about an hour after going to the vape store and running errands. He was home that day until 2:30. Detectives say a tip showed him changing a flat tire not far from where the little girl's body was found that afternoon.
Yep, her body was found. Yep, her body was found. I'm going to say something right now. The channel that I cannot get enough of right now with this case. I mean, I love the channel anyway, don't get me wrong. People are all over Duty Ron's dick. They're like, "Oh, Duty Ron. Duty Ron. Did you hear what Duty Ron said? Did you hear Duty Ron?" I'm like, Duty Ron doesn't even know that his opening is a iMovie application. He doesn't even know. Kat made the same one for me. And he emailed wanting to know why we're using the same opening. I guess he doesn't know that the Glairer uses it and a lot of other people. Anyway, you like Duty Ron? Like Duty Ron. But I'm going to tell you something right now. This guy, NYPD Homicide Sergeant Bill, he has been on this, and the way he is calling her out, I just love. Listen to what he says. He flat out says that Mr. Disney implicated Jenn Soto.
Stearns gave police a very detailed description about how he and Madeline Soto left her mom's Kissimmee apartment around 7:45 in the morning, drove to a McDonald's, and then arrived at the school about an hour later. But according to this newly released report, other evidence confirming the location of Stearns' car contradicts his story.
This girl knows nothing but love here in this house. She hardly ever hears the word no.
Okay, if that's not even sick, this girl knows nothing but love in this house. She doesn't even know the word no. Would anyone have a red flag in their own home if you start dating someone and next thing you know, your child is showered with gifts? I don't mean a candy bar. I don't mean, hey, we were on the way home and I drove through the drive-thru, got a pop and some fries. I need to know more about these photos. I'm not saying I want to see them. God, no, I don't want to see them. But just the descriptions. OJ, can I help you over there? What's going on? You have food. He's got his paw and he's ringing his own bell to get my attention. OJ, you will have your time in a second. Back to what I was saying. We're not talking about just, hey, she was hungry, and so I just went through there real quick, got some pop, got a sack of fries. No, we're talking expensive gifts. That would creep me the hell out. Now, I mean, you've been together for a while. That's one thing. But you listen to him in that creepy voice. She had nothing but love around here. She was never told no. You telling her no. Mr. Disney. is different than her telling you no. And no child should ever be put in that situation. And I know Jenn Soto listens to a lot of these shows. I hope she understands this. I hope she understands this. Giving your child their way is one thing, but she should never have given your boyfriend his way.
Double-edged sword that is.
In this recorded interview, Stefan Stearns tells police about the morning he claims he drove 13-year-old Madeline Soto to school.
She was asleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there.
Stearns says he dropped the teen off about a block away from Hunters Creek Middle School.
Told her to have a good day. I loved her. She told me she loved me too. I turned around to leave, and I was watching her in my rearview mirror. And she looked like she was walking in the right direction.
Authorities now believe Stearns murdered Soto earlier that morning at the Kissimmee apartment she shared with her mother. According to this newly released report, security camera videos showed Stefan Stearns' vehicle exiting the complex with a female wearing a green sweater in the front passenger seat. The female was slumped over to her left, which is an abnormal way for a person to be seated in a vehicle.
She brings a lot of joy. Joy. She's a very good girl. Definitely
She's a very good girl.
doesn't feel the same around here if she's not here.
As police
Sure, it doesn't feel the same way to you.
were looking at Stearns' cell phone, they discovered its memory had been wiped out the same day Soto vanished.
I don't know what the heck I did, but somehow during the massive OS update, I managed to factory reset my phone and lose all of my contacts, all my information.
Several days after that interview, police found Soto's body in a wooded area of St. Cloud. By then, police say they had also found several videos allegedly showing Stearns sexually molesting the girl. In one of those videos, according to this report, Stearns can be heard telling the then 8-year-old that she could not play with a phone unless she performed a sex act.
Okay, so let's talk about that. This goes back to the gift giving. She wanted to play with the phone. She wanted her own phone. They recovered a video of him talking to an 8-year-old little girl, saying, unless you do this, you can't play with the phone. Now, from what I've read, mind you, she's 8 years old. It goes on to say, part of that video said, this is what the phone is for. So when she was having snuggle time with Mr. Disney, she knew to get whatever treats she wanted. New clothes, time on the phone, video games, what have you. She had to do these horrible things, 8 years old. Listen, I'm a woman, okay? I've been a baby girl, been a toddler girl, been a little girl, been a teenage girl. I'm a woman. I raised 3 boys. But I can tell you something right now. If I had a daughter, I would know if something was going on. I would know. I'm not even talking about the SA. Because I don't believe for a minute that old Mr. Disney was doing all the laundry around there. Most moms know with their daughter what's going on. You can tell when you're doing the laundry. Hell, I can tell you right now. I used to yell at my boys all the time because they wouldn't wipe right. I could see pee-pee stains, and one of them was jerking off with socks. Every time I'd go to do the damn laundry, there was always a crusty sock. I'm like, do you mind? I don't have time for this all day. We know what's going on with the laundry, okay?
Lisa and Matt.
Horrific. You know, it just, everything about this case is horrible. And one of the things that, you know, if there's any solace in this case is that the police, and I say this, they did an outstanding job, and they continue to do an outstanding job. And I'm very impressed with the interview, the interrogation, very impressed with how they recovered the evidence so that it sticks when they do take this savage to court. And, you know, our whole sort of hypothesis for tonight's show is that Jennifer Soto and Stefan Stearns, did they do it together?
That is the question. Undead Raymond, talking about the crusty socks. There is a song about it. I'll send it to his wife. Jenn Bug, I know you're in here. If you have a second, can you come up? If it's too hard for you, I don't want you to talk about anything personal, but I really want to hear what you have to say about this. And again, my hat's off to the way that police off the cuff is going straight after Jenn Soto. Of course, there's plenty to say about Mr. Disney.
And if you believe in the chat they did it together, give us a 1. If you believe that Stefan Stearns acted alone and did this alone, put a 2 in the chat. My feelings are that the more I look at this case, I see Jennifer Soto's involvement in it all the way. I really do. And that's my gut feeling.
I just absolutely adore this channel. Obviously, this channel, the one we're on, but police off the cuff, because he just says it. He doesn't sit there like Duty Ron, who is like the Zav girl of, you know, the police world that have, you know, YouTube channels. He doesn't sit there and just go, I don't know, I don't know, and lets his panel do the talking. This guy, Bill Cannon, just goes right after it. I don't believe for a minute they both weren't in on it. I don't believe for a minute they weren't in on it. He does great work. But the show's not about Bill Cannon. It's about Jenn Soto right now.
Did this alone? Put a 2 in the chat. My feelings are that the more I look at this case, I see Jennifer Soto's involvement in it all the way. I really do. And that's my gut feeling. That's my feelings. Mike?
Yeah, Billy, you, me, and Phil, we kind of believed from the start that there.
Hang on, I'm getting off topic again. Steph goes, oh my God, you're so right. Duty Ron, too much trying to be kind to criminals. Oh, he's just trying to be safe. He's just trying to be safe. I mean, I get what he's doing, but the fact that he sent me an email like 3 years ago saying that I stole his intro music and I forwarded it to Kat. Kat was like, no, hang on. I made that for you. And it's from iMovie. Remember that, Kat? But no, this guy, he's got it going on. Bill Cannon is something else. And he don't care.
It wasn't completely unknown to the mother what was going on, that there must have been some level. And I think my suspicions on that have gotten much stronger as we've gone through this. We've looked at more information. You take a look at the video of her again, several times, and you start to go over everything again and figure out in your mind where things happened, how do they happen, the chronology of events. And I don't think there is much credible information that she could put out there, that the mom could put out there to say that she had no idea that there could have been anything going on and she could never have imagined that. I don't think so. I think just any normal person, any normal mother or father would be able to have some inkling of something going on. Maybe they don't want to know and they just put the blinders on, but they know. And therefore, it's really difficult even to believe a story. Even if she didn't have a lot of information, it was just some sort of.
Okay, I'm going to cut him off for a minute. Even if you didn't have a lot of information, listen, we can't read people's minds. We know when our children are acting out. Matter of fact, you just heard OJ behind me ringing his own bell, wanting me to get up and go feed him or get him some snacks. But we're talking about a little girl that at 8 years old was said, you can only use the phone if you do this. So you can't tell me that at no time between 8 and 13, because kids don't lie, they might try, but it's written all over their face. Between 8 and 13, you cannot tell me that she did not say to Jenn Soto, I can only use the phone if I do this. Hold on, we have a big treat behind the scenes. No, it is not Duty Dawn. It is our friend Jenn Bug. Have a big round of applause for Jenn Bug because she has been on this from the get. Girlfriend, we have missed you. I know you have been super busy with your new job and everything, and you have been calling this case out left and right. Talk to me about it.
Hey, good morning. I miss you guys. Yeah, I've been busy with work, unfortunately. So I'm here and there trying to catch up with everything. But yeah, this case, from the beginning, I watched her videos and the interviews and things like that, and I was just like, something doesn't sit well. And just not to go too personal, but like I've been through something like this, not to the extent of it, but I mean, I was abused as a child, and my mom does definitely remind me of how Jenn, just the way she acts, so she's definitely involved. I feel like it's way deeper than, like we know some extent of it, but she's definitely involved. She used her child as bait and to keep him, period. Like she has no emotions. She didn't go look for her child. She's just as guilty as he is.
And, you know, I say that too. She's just as guilty. I mean, in the eyes of the law, she's not. What I is, I don't even know where to start. At 8 years old, when you're told you can't use the phone unless you learn how to do something to a man.
Yep.
My husband only gets on his birthday. So, of course, she's going to think to her mother, well, God, I can't ask to use her phone because she's a child. Then we have the lies from her mother.
Yeah. She changed in her story. Like, yeah.
And you can't say that you physically saw someone alive at 8 a.m. on the dot. I mean, I would understand if it was like, no, I saw it. I know I saw her like around, like 7 a.m. She was getting ready, but there was no detail to it. Sometimes these criminals give us extra detail and sometimes not enough. Sometimes, in this case, 8 o'clock on the dot. Okay. And then
I'm sorry. If I didn't see my child and I thought she was missing, I wouldn't be emailing the teachers. I would be at the school finding out where my kid is.
And thank you for that. Thank you for that. Because that's what I kept saying. Who the hell emails a teacher if you're missing your child?
Yes. No, I'd be at the school. I'd be going crazy. She has, I mean, everybody handles different, but like she has no emotions at all. She's consoling him instead of worrying about her child.
Yeah. Did you see those sick ass? I mean, she's standing. She gets out of her chair.
Yep.
She walks by him. She fixes his collar, puffs up his hoodie, and she's comforting him.
Yeah. She'll do anything to keep that man happy, even basically sacrificing her daughter. And that's how some women are like that. My mother was the same way. She believed my abuser over me. That's how sick some women are, literally. And she's involved. I don't care what this guy, the homicide guy, she's heavily involved. I believe, in my opinion, she had a part in everything. The sex trafficking, everything that they're doing, and she's part of everything.
And
in my opinion.
Oh, in my opinion, you can't tell me that where Madeline her body was put, you can't tell me that wasn't planned.
Yeah. No way it's a coincidence.
They both knew Santa. They both knew Jesus. They both knew his son.
Yep.
And let me tell you what, there's not seven. I'm almost 49 years old, Jen Bug. Obviously, I'm 21, but almost 49 years. There's not 1,700 pictures of me.
Nope.
But in this short time they have been together, 1,700 pictures. So what are you doing with them? And how are you affording expensive bags and $1,800 shoes?
And who's helping him take those pictures? Who's helping him take those pictures? It makes me sick. It just makes me sick. But there's something that's, she needs to, I don't know if she will. Hopefully she needs to be, but I don't know if they're keeping her to, maybe find out more information, or she's making a deal, or I don't know, but she definitely needs to be in the same position he's at right now. She needs to be charged with something.
And I mean, the way you have spoken out and you have been so brave about your own past, I mean, I can't, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't say what you do. And I mean, you've been steadfast for, these children. Have you been counseling children?
Yeah, I've thought about it for a while. I actually have, just from like friends and family members and things like that, I've actually spoken to a few people about it. But it's just like when people say, how didn't she, just want to say, like, how didn't she? I know other people have been through it too. I'm not the only, person that's been through abuse and things like that. But when people say, like, why didn't she tell somebody? Why didn't she go talk to the police? Why didn't, you know what I mean? It's when you're a child, you're scared. First of all, you think, unfortunately, you think it's normal. It's okay. You're just a child. I was 8 years old, saying, when it happened to me, I just, I was like, I thought it was normal. I thought this was what I was supposed to do. I never told my mother, I didn't say anything. I was threatened, if you say something and you speak out, I'm going to do such and such to your mom, your brother, your sister, I was scared. You feel disgusted. You feel embarrassed. You feel ashamed. And you're just a child. You know what I mean? You're just a child. You're scared.
So
it happened. My mom found out because of my teachers at school noticed that I was acting different. They noticed that I was acting different, and they just like came to me, hey, what's going on? They took me to at school, we had a therapist, and I just let everything out. But when I told, the cops investigated, and before it wasn't talked about as much as it is now. You know what I mean? Before it wasn't as such a, you couldn't, families, and back when it happened to me, it was like, oh my gosh, like it was like my family did not talk about it. You know what I mean? Like they still don't talk about it. Like it never happened. Like, but now it's okay to talk about, you know what I mean? It's more, a conversation. Before it was like a hush thing. You know what I mean?
And I mean, at what point is, you're not going to pass the turkey and talk about something horrible that no one helped. So at what point do you forgive?
Oof. Forgive. Probably when I went through therapy, not even until my late 20s is when I forgive. You'll never forget it, but I forgave. But I don't have a relationship with my mother just because she didn't believe me, and she let me continue to go back into the house and let it continue. She chose him over me, and that's what she's doing. She did. She chose that man over her daughter.
Now, this is your opinion only. Do you think that maybe Jenn orchestrated the murder? Or was it a total surprise to her while she was sleeping that her daughter was being murdered?
No. I think that she was a part of, not maybe orchestrated, but she knew about it. Like she knew maybe that it, not to say it was planned, but it happened and she knew. You know what I mean? She was a part of it and part of covering it up.
And I mean, not just your opinion, because of course you're in the hot seat, but I mean, everyone in here, do you think I'm far off by saying when she said we haven't argued in a couple of weeks? Do you think the arguments she had been having with Maddie were about Stephen Stearns? And then when he came back in that night and she, of course she gets off work and she goes to bed.
Yeah, I feel like Maddie, this is my opinion. I just think that she finally said no. Enough is enough. Especially when it gave me chills when he's like, she said she never heard no. She never, you know what I mean? She said no finally. That's what I think, that she finally said, I've had enough. I'm not doing it anymore. And once she said no, that was it,
Just makes me damn sick.
Yeah, it's horrible. It makes me angry. It makes me sick. It makes me like, I don't understand. You try to rationalize how people and mothers can be like this. Like, that's what makes it worse, is that it's her mother. And, you know, your mothers are supposed to be there to protect you. And she didn't protect her child.
Mhm. And I think it really all comes down to this. Maddie finally said no. He was let back into the house, and she had a plan to get
Yep.
out and go live in the woods, and she said no.
No. Yeah. That's what I think, in my opinion. Like, she had enough. It's a no, not anymore. I've had enough. No. And when she told him no, that was it, you know. That's just my opinion.
That's mine too. I think, you know, obviously something went down that night because she was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that she knew he was going to show back up that night, because she seemed extremely happy at her birthday party.
Yeah. Yeah, she looked happy. She looked like, you know, she was enjoying herself. And I just, it breaks my heart. It really does. I hate that there's horrible mothers out here that don't protect their children. I really do.
I do too. And I hate it, you know, you being, you know, an amazing person, an amazing friend, that you ever had to go through anything like that.
Thank you. I mean, it's tough, and there's, like I said, there's plenty of other people, but it definitely makes you a stronger person. You know, it sucks. I mean, my grandfather always told me, like, you know, God will only give you so much that you can handle. God, you know, so unfortunately, it's something that I had to go through, but it definitely made me stronger, you know. But I definitely hope that charges are coming for Jenn. She needs to be charged. She did not protect her child. She did not, you know what I mean? She let it happen in her home. And for her to say she didn't know what was going on, she knew. She ignored it. She did anything to keep that man happy, to keep him, period. Using her child.
And she had pictures all over her Facebook of character nights at Disney, how they had exclusive access to the new rides, like the Dune ride and all this stuff. Hey, the park is closed, but, you know, we can still ride. I mean, she was really into this whole Disney thing. Now, I do, Disney World said he never worked for them. It's because he went through a staffing company.
He definitely worked. Yeah, he definitely, maybe he did. I mean, he did. It was a staffing company, but definitely worked for Disney. And I won't share my thoughts about Disney, but, you know.
And yeah, I mean, Maddie's father, I mean, of course, he's extremely, extremely upset. I mean, he gave one interview, and you know, he spent time. I mean, he lives in Texas. They live in Florida. You know, that's what happens when, you know, families split up.
Yep.
And he, of course, you can just imagine when Maddie was handed the phone to talk to her father, what she's going to say. Oh
yeah, everything's fine. I'm happy. Yeah. I did the same thing. Everything's fine. I'm happy. Nobody in my family knew what was going on at all. I just pretended like everything was fine and normal. I came from a broken home too. My parents weren't together. I'd see my dad. I'd go over there. You know, every other weekend. Hey, everything's fine. Never knew. So maybe nobody knew, you know, but her mom definitely knew. She can say she didn't. She can pretend she didn't. She can whatever she wants to think, whatever she wants to portray to everyone else, she knew. Moms know.
She had to have known. She
Mm-hmm.
had to have known something.
Yeah. She knew.
All right, let me let's just go through this real quick. I gotta decompress for a second.
Suspicion. The fact is, she actually was covering for Stefan in that interview by adopting part of his own excuse. So therefore, I think she can legally be charged, even at this point, with the criminal act, depending on how you want to look at it. But definitely yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot to take in this case, and as more and more of the evidence just came in this week. Of course, I thought I was going to get to the discovery affidavit, but we clearly had so much to talk about that we didn't. And I did like a whole show on the discovery evidence affidavit, which I could put it up on the screen now, and that in itself is a whole other damn show. It's just there's so much information there. Put it up on the screen there. You could see it. And it's the state's response for demand for discovery. And they go over all the search warrants, all the evidence. One of the interesting things we found in this, and I'll go down, there's a firearm.
Yes.
Recovered in this. I think it was, I'm looking for it on here. And that, to me, draws questions. Could Madeline have been killed?
Page 252, I see firearm
Okay,
mentioned.
firearms trace summary. Yes.
Yeah.
That brings some more questions to this.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the things, and Kissing Me Floyd.
Okay, they did recover a firearm, but Vinny said yesterday on Court TV they believe it was blunt force trauma. Now, I don't know where they're getting that. I haven't read anything like that. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty easy to tell. Blunt force trauma would be easy to see in that apartment. Gunshot wounds obviously would. What I do wonder if maybe she wasn't, strangled or something, because somebody would have heard something. And at this point, Maddie was not shown dignity in life. So I 100% agree with the state of Florida for not releasing her cause of death and the condition of her body, to show her some dignity in death. Because we don't need like other Zab girls out there getting a hold of, autopsy photos and putting them out for their Patreons to sit there and make fun of them. Because I was mortified with what people were saying about Gannon's autopsy photos. But it's just absolutely horrible. It's horrific. I don't think there's any reason to put out the autopsy of a child. Obviously, for the trial, you have to. You're going to have to show the jury the whole kit and caboodle. You're going to have to. Because you got to prove it all. There cannot be any reasonable doubt. There cannot be any second guesses. Well, I don't know. I do worry about, him saying, I've been on so many tranquilizers. We have heard all the complaints from Jenn Soto about, I take so much Seroquel, I don't hear anything. So we have that too. But it's a horrible, horrible case. And as much as we can stomach it, we're going to continue to follow it. I think at this point, we all have the same understanding. Yeah, I would like to see charges on Jenn Soto. I think the question is, how do you prove that she knew? How do you prove? Everyone sleeping in the bed together is not a crime, believe it or not. How do you prove she knew? I think it's going to come down to the pictures. I truly do. And I think they're going to have to, I guarantee Homeland Security is already involved. I think they're going to have to start following a money trail that might take 4 or 5 years. But eventually it will. Because the truth matters, not what we want. The truth. The truth for our society is what matters. To keep these people out of us. Keep them away. They can't sit with us. These sick fucks cannot sit with us. They got to go find somewhere else sick. They got to find somewhere else to go. And that place to go is jail. Someone helped take those pictures. They're too descriptive. I tried to take a nude for my husband one day. It was like 26 times it took me to get my ass up on the counter and make it look like something that didn't look like a Jell-O casserole that your Aunt Edna brought to Thanksgiving. Took forever. This is ridiculous. Well, Jenn Bug, thank you for coming up. You are a true survivor. You are amazing.
Thank you. You too.
And
thank you guys.
And don't even think about me trying to take nudes or anything. I just trying to explain.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel the same way. Somebody had to have helped. There's no way. It just, I hope, and there gets Jenn. Ugh, she has my name, unfortunately. But Jenn gets charges against her. She definitely does. But like you said, it's just going to depend on how they can prove it.
And it comes down to this. They can probably already prove it because this law enforcement, they're nothing to screw with. I can say that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is she a witness, or is she going to be a co-defendant in another case? Meaning, are they going to bring charges up?
Mm-hmm.
Else. That's what I think they're doing. They're being patient. They believe already they can prove murder against him.
Yep.
They've got the 1,700 plus pictures. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yep. Maddie deserves justice for sure.
Maddie does. All right, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry about yesterday. We've been having these crazy storms around here. I don't get to live in Arizona like Jenn does. Daylight savings time, and you get to have amazing weather all the time.
Hey, it's 100 degrees. So, yeah. No.
Woo, girl.
No tornadoes here, though.
Mm-hmm. No tornadoes. Well, we're going to have some today. So, all right. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you again, Mod Squad. And for all of you, just being amazing friends and always being here for the right reasons and just keeping it cool, keeping it classy, and being the best chat and community on nasty YouTube streets and talking about things that nobody even wants to think about. All right, Jenn Bug, we're out.
All right. Have a good day.
Love you guys. Love you, Jenn Bug.
Love you.